All right, it's your buddy Mike Messier, and I want to make some thoughts this morning, on Daniel Bryan, or Bryan Danielson, the American Dragon, as he used to be known. I'm not going to give you any shocking revelation, except to give you some personal perspective. That part of the reason why this guy is over, Daniel Bryan, I'm not a huge fan of his, but I can see why people like him. He's a reflection of his times, meaning that he's a vegan, he's undersized. He looks like a guy with the beard, especially, that you would kind of work with at your job. You know, if you're a computer guy and you work in computers, or you go to some job and you know what I mean? He looks like a reflection of his times, meaning the last 10 or 15 years. He looks like a guy who'd be around and you'd drink a fucking pint with at some fucking barley pint club, some bar. You know what I mean? Like, he looks like it wouldn't even be a bar, it would be a brewery. Like, Daniel Bryan is a brewery wrestler. Steve Austin, you'd have a beer, a fucking six-pack of a Bud Light at a bar in the APA. You'd hang out at the bar. Daniel Bryan, you'd have a pint of some homemade fucking brew, some vegan brew with special knops and shit. So Daniel Bryan's a reflection of his times. I don't hate Daniel Bryan. I don't particularly go nuts about him. But what I do like is that he's over, meaning that I'm going to have a video one day about this. If Daniel Bryan encourages people to buy tickets, if people like him, then I like him because people like him, if that makes any sense. He's keeping things moving forward. Another reason why Daniel Bryan's over in a legitimate way, and this is, I'm putting the guy, not that he needs my fucking support, but I'm saying one thing about him that's so successful is that the whole thing with the authority, there was a level to shoot, or there's a level of shoot on that. Okay, so when Stone Cold Steve Austin and the Vince McMahon Corporation era was going on, you can see right through that. You can see that, look, Vince and Stone Cold love each other. They're making a lot of money. They probably hang out after. They bonk each other over the heads. There was a level of campiness, or we knew it was a shot. We knew it was a work that, Stone Cold and Vince really were friends. Vince loved Stone Cold. He saved his fucking company, let's be honest. With Daniel, when he was, 2011, 2012, 13 into 14, you did have that feeling that Triple H, Vince, Stephanie, whoever the fuck, really didn't like the guy that very much, or they didn't understand his appeal. And so when they played that on TV, it had a level of authenticity to it. To call him a B-plus player or a B player, it had a level of reality to it, which was very hard to do these days with all the Tough Enoughs and all the shoot interview tapes, everything that's exposed wrestling, the storyline angles of it. To have a guy who legitimately feels, in addition to the storyline, that in real life they don't understand him, and they played into that and they played it up, that was effective. And so the fans, you start questioning, well, do they really don't like this guy? Do they really not understand that we like him? Meaning Daniel Bryan, and apparently, they at least put as the top guys that they could put this guy over. Batista, Randy Orton, and Triple H all put him over at that WrestleMania 30. The only shine to that that was kind of taken away a little bit was a little obscured by The Undertaker losing the streak, which that kind of took some of the focus away from Daniel Bryan's accomplishment that night. And some fans will make it all pissy and moany, but I'm just saying that was such a big storyline, The Undertaker losing the streak, that Daniel Bryan's victory in 2 matches was kind of obscured. Now, and of course, the Ultimate Warrior unfortunately passed away a few days later, which also, and so took away some of that excitement from Daniel Bryan. But Daniel Bryan never really had a great title run, in my opinion, from my memory, not an opinion, my memory. I think he just wrestled 1 match against Kane that he defended the title against, or didn't even make that match on pay-per-view. He was kind of in the dying days of pay-per-view, Daniel Bryan. It was just when the network was getting going, with the network, I think started at WrestleMania 30, from my memory. I could be wrong. But basically, my point is, why was Daniel Bryan over? he was a reflection of his times. He was the guy that was vegan. He was the guy that was 180 pounds or 220 pounds, marrying the hot chick, marrying a girl similar in, looks to a girl that married John Cena. See what I'm saying? So he was a guy who always had that underdog thing going. Years ago, there was a video online, this like 20-minute epic movie that these people made about Daniel Bryan and how Triple H saw himself in Daniel Bryan, blah, blah, blah. I don't know where that movie is, but it was great. It was this homemade fucking movie. So my point basically is, why is Daniel Bryan over? He's a reflection of you, the current wrestling fan. You're not a big guy. You're probably undersized. You probably work in computers. And you see this guy, Daniel Bryan, with his beard, who's very tactical, very technician-based, very good at what he does, not a good speaker, not naturally charismatic, and you relate to him. And that's not an insult to anybody. I'm just saying that he is a reflection of his times, and I can appreciate that. I was in Providence one night, and Daniel Bryan was brought into the fucking Wyatt family, and then they had this big cage match, and Daniel turned babyface. He was only in the Wyatt family for a month or two, and then he turned on him and went babyface. And I was in Providence at a local bar watching this on the big screen, and the arena is about a mile away, and although I could not literally hear the noise from the arena, I could feel it emotionally. Like, this is our town popping for this fucking guy. So I don't know if this video has been effective in putting over Daniel Bryan more than he doesn't fucking need me to put him over, obviously. But I guess my sliver of an insight is, why is this guy over? He's a reflection of the times. Now, a guy like Roman Reigns is not a reflection of his times. He looks like something from the 80s. He looks like something from 1988. I mean, imagine if Roman Reigns came out in 88, he would be kind of low. He would be somewhere in that Ultimate Warrior or Billy Jack Haynes in 87. Big muscle guy, not a very good talker. He'd be someone you'd put on a Saturday night's main event. I'm talking about Roman Reigns as like the semifinal match. Like he'd be Hogan's buddy, and then eventually he'd leave, meaning Roman, because Hogan would get him out of the company. He wouldn't want to compete with him. My point is, not to make this a Roman Reigns fucking thing, but the reason why Daniel is over more so than Roman for the most part is because Roman's a reflection of his era. Daniel Bryan is a reflection of his era and of his people. Roman is like from a different era. He's from like the late 80s, okay? He doesn't fit in with his own time, with 2018, and he hasn't. So that's my fucking point. And also, Daniel Bryan, I mean, you could say, I don't even think it was a master manipulation, but to have him lose to Sheamus at 2 WrestleManias in a row, I believe, one in 18 seconds, and the other one was a dark match or a fucking pre-show match, I don't think they're smart enough to have done that on purpose. I think that was to have him lose to Sheamus those 2 WrestleManias. I think it was a situation where Daniel Bryan did earn his fucking spot. You have to give it up to him. I'm not a fan. I'm not a big fucking Daniel Bryan fucking fan. But I'm saying, as a non-fan of his, I respect what he does. I can understand why he's over. I can appreciate it. I can respect it. Doesn't mean I fucking pop for the fucking guy. The yes chant always helps. It's great to have a chant. And someone was saying, well, the yes chant's not really a Daniel Bryan chant. Someone was saying this. I disagree. I think when I hear, I go to an indie show, when I was doing that or whatever, and people break into a yes chant, you're always going to think Daniel Bryan. It's always going to be in the back of your fucking memory that this was the Daniel Bryan thing. So, blah, 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 blah. Yes, they use the yes chant for non-Daniel Bryan action or chants, but it's his fucking deal. It's like when people chant what, it's always going to be a Stone Cold deal. Anyway, I've fucking babble-fucked long enough. As far as fucking his match at WrestleMania with Shane O'Mac, or if he needs a substitute, if Shane can't make it, or whatever the fuck, you got to put the guy over. I mean, it would kind of be cutting his balls off if Kevin Owens... I mean, you could do that to have the bad guys win, but I think Daniel's got to get the submission victory over Kevin Owens. That's got to happen. So good luck to the fucking guy. He's banging a hot chick. What else do you need in this goddamn world? Mike Messier.